Hi everyone, thank you guys for joining me today. We have a beautiful, perhaps crystal, perhaps volcanic glass effigy. I'm not sure what the material actually is. It looks almost too shiny for crystal. But the first thing I want to show you guys, I'm going to zoom you in and then we're going to come back out and take a look at this piece. But before we get started, I wanted to show you the tool marks and how detailed they made these edges and the way that they etched this. Now, many of you guys know Mr. Richard Dempsey. He is a researcher of this Paleolithic art, and he often shows these etchings on here. And if we look closely, we may be able to make out a mammoth here, believe it or not. But before we went too far, I just wanted to show you this napped edge. There's actually two of them right next to each other. And I'm going to try to show you the edge the best that I can here. As you can see, it's pretty tight, but the way that they did the edges is they actually scraped from the bottom up to create that little serration, and it is super sharp, guys. So there's another one, there's two of those, and they are right next to each other. So just wanted to show those tool marks first and then show you the polish. There's almost every single kind of tool mark on this one particular stone. So we have these hashes, these lines. We even have a window in this one. And so let's go ahead and get started and we'll do a quick interpretation of this. Now, it's going to be very interpretive, and I could be wrong on some things since we're so close and this is not really my style. But from what I can see is we have an eye right here, the nose, and then the mouth right here of the colored in section. Looking at that as a profile image there on the edge. Now, coming over to the right-hand side here, we can see the beginnings of a mammoth. We can see how the tuft is up at the top here and how the mammoth's eye is carved in, and perhaps the trunk comes down. Let's take a closer look and investigate that together. So if we see an ear, then we'll know. But this is a really neat stone for sure. Now, zooming in on that face, if we look closely in where I pointed that eye out, you can actually see those little lines. It looks like almost they melted it with butter. Those little lines in there are all carvings. These guys were masters of stone. Anybody could make an arrowhead. An arrowhead was needed to survive. This is art, and I think a lot of people could make this too, for sure. So we'll go ahead and try to make out a few of them. We definitely have a left side portrait here, but finding the perfect orientation of it might be a little difficult. So let's go ahead and change our light and maybe we'll take this outside and take a look at it there. And this one is taking me a while to see the motifs. It is a very different style, but I'm able to start to see them now. So here we have, it's so small on this one, it's incredible. But the yellow beak pointing down, you guys can see. And then the little bird eye. This is the bird's head. Perhaps the body of the bird comes back down here where the ruffled section is. That's just to start here. This one is a lot tougher to see. Of course, we see this left side profile again with its eye looking at the interior section. So we have a colored eye and a carved eye. You see the two there. And as we all know, the different distances and light will help. So I'd like to take you guys outside today, but it is too windy. So let's go ahead and just investigate this one together. Sorry if you guys are already like, I'm out of here. Just hang tight. This is really neat. We see the left side portrait now. Go ahead and grab my pen. Trying not to block the camera, and I made it so much worse. Of course, we have the eye, the nose, and then the little indentation for the lips down here, facing for the left side portrait. And boy, this crystal or glass, whatever it might be, it is a really great way to make the art. Let's go ahead and look for our left side silhouette here. We can see the little indentation, just the colors of the crystal, and how the rough section perhaps represents the hair. And then we have our, what looks to be like a mammoth on the right, but I'm just in mammoth mode. I'm also trying to find a mammoth that I had on here that was really great. But some of this stuff, it's like you can almost only see it when it's super, super close. So it was a, you know, highly revered piece of stone. As you guys can see, this is a very different type of stone than what you normally find. It's a huge, beautiful crystal or glass. This is one of the first pieces I actually found. We talked about calling it a preform, but as I've learned more about the art, I can see all these peckings and all these, this rough section, this pressure flaked section right here. And also now I can see these incredible tool marks, which, you know, it might be a little bit easier to see in this orientation here. See how it's curved and napped the whole way through? I'll zoom in even more. If I, oh, that's all the max I got. If I get much closer, I think it'll go fuzzy on me, so let's see. There we go, that's an excellent shot of it. You guys can see the edge here. So, a lot of times archaeologists say, no, I don't see any tool marks. Sometimes they are just not looking hard enough. If you guys look at that edge, I see people making arrowheads on YouTube. I don't see anyone doing edges like that. That is highly, highly engineered. Which makes sense. I mean, why would a modern person be able to make a survival tool better than someone who actually lived by it, right? Stones were life. So if you didn't have stone skills, you and your family did not survive. So yeah, practicing this art was highly encouraged. I'm certain of it. From this angle, you guys can see the etchings on the inside there too. Really just wanted to show you guys the tool marks and just show you how a normal rock, which might not have something right off the bat that you might see, deserves a little bit of a closer look, right? So appreciate you guys watching and investigating those tool marks with me.